I'm Angus. I'm going to be teaching a pole arm class today. We're going to start by discussing many different subjects, so we're not going to start fighting right away. I'm going to try to do a knowledge dump with you guys. Give you pretty much how I fight with the pole arm and how I use this as a tool to mass destruction. Take from it what works for you. It's not the unique solution to fighting with this weapon. I'm a lot larger than all of you, but I learned most of this from Sir Mohammed, who's a little guy who jumps all over the place. And my first man at arms was 5'1", and I was able to transfer a lot of his knowledge. So it's something that can be used. Not everything will work for you, but you can always try to extrapolate from that what works for you. The first thing I'm going to talk about is the actual pole arm and the equipment that and the little things I've learned in the past. The pole arm, usually 2 thrusting tips, one on each end, laid on the front, laid on the back. Shortest possible is 48 inches because the 2 thrusting tips. Longest is 7.5 feet. And 7.5 feet includes the thrusting tips. The choice of the pole arm is important because it will influence your fighting style. You can look, if you go to Penzance, there's these vendors, they have a ton of rattan. And you can spot the pole arm because he's there, he takes one out, plays with it a bit, puts it back, takes another one out, looks at it, puts it back till he finds the perfect stick. I always go for the most rigid and light stick I can get. Why? You can get some pole arms that are big trunks, they're heavy. When you hit with that, the person knows it. But it takes you half an hour to throw the shot. And then take another half hour to bring that pole back. It's very slow. So I go for light because if I can put speed into that pole, I can then do other things with it. If I need to change directions, if I need to bring it back for a block, it's going to go a lot faster. And rigidity. You can get a lot of sticks of rattan, they're perfect for swords, but you start fidgeting with it and it just goes all over the place. A bit like Gregarious right there. I find that those, when you throw shots, you're losing a lot of power in the bend of the pole arm, and you're also, they're slower to bring back because they curve around. Yes, they could be used to curve around a shield and maybe get that shot in. No.
Doesn't mean anything.
Yes, that's it. So I really go for the most rigid pole arms I can get. Sometimes you have to settle for something a bit heavier, but as long as it's rigid, you've got a good pole there. The thrusting tips, what I've been using recently is exactly those formats there. They last reasonably long and they don't end up being destroyed too much. So those formats for kids, they work pretty well. Not too much. Yeah.
When you're making them, do you just stack discs and then put it on, or do you secure them together at all? Or
I glue them together.
Okay.
I try to put the less tape possible because that adds weight and it adds, and then it just gets clumps up and then you end up with just a big ball of tape and it makes that the tip is more rigid also. Okay. So the mats are a bit rigid, but if you add too much tape over it, you're just going to end up having something that's too hard.
Yeah, one thing that's hard with these is I wrap them into a fiber tape to try to keep them together, and that sort of works. Yeah. But I never thought of it glue.
One thing that's important for your pole arms, never store them like this. The way that your pole arms is going to construct your butt spike and you'll change your butt spike color. So find somewhere to put them on the rack, or in my have to do some work against spears, we want that extra range. Now we talk about armor. Pole armor is all about mobility. You have to get away, you don't have a shield to block stuff, so you have to be able to move. So leg, I have bandstand style legs with almost nothing on my thighs. Bandstand style arms, which allows me to do this. Cross my elbows. If you're not able to cross your elbows, you're not going to be able to effectively do your outside shots. So that means having the torso here that's a bit more flexible. You can cross your elbows and then be able to do those shots. Also have a lot of mobility on your shoulders to be able to move shots up and have full mobility. I don't wear too much armor on. This is just cotton. I don't wear much here because all the other solutions I found were putting down the mobility. I'll take that shot there once or twice a year. Something you want solid is your forearm. If you look at my forearm armor, it's full of depth, it's full of, because you're always kind of in a triangle, that's what's up front, that's where you get glancing shots off. So good elbow protection, good forearm protection, is going to save you some pain. After that, you're moving a lot, make sure that you're able to move with your legs, you're able to squat and all that, so that you're able to get out of the way and use what your biggest defense is in forearm is your range. So, any questions on the equipment and all that? Okay. Now let's look at actually fighting with forearm. There's probably four basic shots that I use with the forearm, and for each striking position. Well, five. You have the normal slash, the outside, the backhand, where you're using the back of your leg, your thrust, and the one that everyone forgets, your butt thrust. So let's start with the normal slashes. This is where you can get very creative. Your first instinct is just, okay, I'm going to do my slashes, go, boom, boom, boom. You're using a lot of your arms. You're using a lot of your shoulders. That's what you're using to do your power, push your power. You're going to get tired after 5 minutes, and to be able to do shots and be able to bring the power in, you're going to have to do big, long, projecting. So you have to use the pole arm with your whole body, and it always starts at your hips. And when you're holding the pole arm and looking at a shot, if your hips move forward, your shoulder's going to move forward. So you've got this hand going forward. If I push that forward, you see the pole arm kind of naturally goes forward, pivoting on this hand. Now, you've got this hip going backwards, this shoulder going backwards. And what does it do to the bottom butt spike here? It pulls it back. So what you're looking at is pushing forward with this part of your body, pulling back here, and you're able to go from almost straight position to a shot. It's just your body. And your shot is a lot faster and a lot harder. So just from here.
It was your belt.
Simon fell again.
Oof. footing, is counterintuitive, I guess, to the. Because normally, if I were fighting a normal sword style,
Bruce,
I'd be like
you shuffle
this.
back way about 12 inches. Thank you,
If I
Bruce.
do that, I do that with the pole. I find this way is
Okay, let's get into course.
So I find that I need to switch up. And so the normal style with the pole down here would be this way forward, I think. Is that
Usually I'll have my feet not pretty close. Shoulder width or a bit wider. And then usually I'll have the high hand with the back leg. So I can thrust the hip forward. But usually you'll always be moving around. So you have to kind of learn to throw shots with both legs forward. Because we're going to talk a bit about later, range, you always want to be changing your range around. So here, with this leg forward on the high hand, you still be able to push that hip forward and go get it. So and you have to kind of be able to switch it around. So I think the best thing is to get comfortable. Start with how your footing is comfortable, and just think about moving those hips forward to go get your shots.
Okay. Actually, to go with that, with foot position, what about hand position, distance between when you're throwing basic shots?
Comfortable line, comfortable space. But again, you're not going to hold your pole arm with a death grip.
No.
You're going to hold it. Usually I hold it with my thumbs, and only because I'm moving. If I want to go get something further out, I'll go get it. If someone's coming in close, I'll pull back. So, and if I want to do a left spike, I'm always moving with my pole. So you're always moving. You only want to have that death grip pretty much at the instance of contact, so that then you're able to go and deliver all the power that you're not going to slip.
So like with the throwing shot with the sword, you want to tighten up that impact. Okay.
Basically the last second you just want to, it's at the last second you want to.
Just before contact, then that's when you want to hold it, so that also you can get some vibration in your pole. So you don't want your pole just flying off. You want to, at that moment, you want to have a solid grip on it. So back to the slash. So now you're pushing and you're pulling. You've got a pivot point on your front hand, and you're pulling on your back hand. What happens if instead of just pulling straight, I start pulling to the side? Just leave that hand at the same place in the front.
becomes a flat step.
Becomes a flat step. Look at the direction your pole is going. It's not a straight shot. Like for Garrett, could I just have you? I'm not going to do it hard. If I want to come and hit right here, I can do it straight. Go in. Boom. Or, you know, a lot of people, they have their shield, they're like this, sword parallel to the top of their shield. If instead I just come in,
Right in the slot.
right in the gap. So you can play with that. And if you're pushing to get power with the top hand, you can adjust very slightly where that pole arm is going to follow the bottom of the shield, to follow that hole. So it's not much that you're doing. You're going from down here to up here. And that's just a bit of an angle difference on the back end here.
And it looks like it's on the same shot, but
Yeah.
different directions.
And you can use it low. I want to go get the leg, lower the pivot, go get the leg. I want to try to hit John in the head, bring the pole arm up, and go get it. You've got some shield men in front of you. You want to get that guy in the back, you can go and get it, or even someone on their knees. So you modify that running, the shots are coming and glancing because you're always moving. And you're able to aim on the fly where your shots are going. A lot of times in melees, you're just there throwing shots. You start your shot going, and then you kind of hone in on what's open while it's there, because melee is always moving. So you start your shot, okay, there's something there, there's something there, there's something over here, and you're always starting the same thing, so if people are looking at your pole arm, they don't really know where it's going to go. This is something to practice this, I just took a stick at home, a short stick, so it'll not
Bringing the lights.
breaking anything, and just doing that movement to get comfortable with. So if we take that same movement and look at the offside now, offside is pretty much the same thing. And your offside, you're actually doing the same movement of pushing this hip forward and pushing that and pulling that one back. You can see here. And that gives you the possibility of combining shots very rapidly. And my forearm is just staying here. I'm just going over the helm and adding each side of the helm. I don't have to bring back and throw and bring back and throw. I'm just going combinations out there. So you're at range, you get stuff in between, and you're throwing combo shots. And they have to deal with that point there. They don't have the possibility to come up. Or another thing I've managed to do is down here, get a shield going back down, straight back up. So playing with that pivot is how you're going to be able to exploit the hole that you're creating. But that also means you have to throw multiple shots. One big shot will come back, one big shot will come back. Isn't going to work. Just try to grab a water bottle with it.
There's 2 water bottles down there by that Sprite bottle. If you want one of them, go for it.
Yeah.
As it turns out, this is the longest piece of recording.
Yeah.
I was looking for like.
It feels weird, yeah, bringing that back to the snack, bring her. I can't bring my arm across that much.
I definitely need to do some more editing now, because I have like tried to farm with that until.
Interesting. You can't cross your arms. Yeah. It's interesting with simple test, right?
Because I had 7.5.
Right, that's as far as my arm will let me come.
Yeah.
With doing shots like that, you can also vary your range very rapidly. Someone's far, the shot, you choke down on your forearm and throw the shot out. Come back, and you're always choking up, choking down, and moving on your forearm. The guy starts advancing, you start pulling this hand back. So instead of throwing out here, you start throwing a bit closer to your body. But you're still in the same position to come back and protect. And if he's really close, you choke up, throw that hand back, and you're able to come get a shot here or even down with going from the same position you were here to choking. You don't have to choke down and give your shot and choke back up. You're just doing it on the fly. You're just throwing that hand back and going to get it and be able to come back and protect.
So essentially, you don't move the front hand. At close fighting, the front hand just stays locked at the base of the blade.
The front hand the back hand will try to get you the range that you want. That front hand will be trying to direct the shot where you want it,
Okay.
and also protecting you.
Okay.
So you're able to get a good range of movements with pretty much the same shot. Going from out here to here is how I need to move. Do it high, do it low, and just practice. And you can do it the other side also. Same thing. Just get the movement down and get your muscles ready to do that. And it gives you a lot of flexibility on what situations come in front of you. The other shot that you're going to be using a lot is the thrust. The thrust is pretty much the bread and butter when you're at distance. This applies also to spear. First of all, the stance. You want to be, as before, solid, and you're going to use your hip. Throw forward, keeping your body straight. Do it slow. Just get the movement there. Again, you can do it at home with something lighter, so that you're not tiring out too much. But the movement is to pop your hip forward. With the hand, you can support it as far as it goes. Sometimes you don't need to go too far. Sometimes you need to let it go. And you'll push that foot forward more. And then you come back together. This is basic. You want to keep your torso straight. Because if you start with, okay, this is how you're going to thrust further, you're just going to get your head pumped. Sometimes you know you're missing that inch or two at the end. Okay, then you can go get it. But if you really need to go get it with that extra push, then the guy's not close enough to pop with the head.
I noticed that you're thrusting from your back leg. Is there a reason for that in particular?
It's more than it's my comfortable stance. But again, you're always going to be moving around. You're never going to. You have to stay mobile. If you stay planted, you're faster. So you're always going to kind of be moving and putting one hip forward, the other hip forward. One of the small crafty tricks is you put this hip forward, you do some thrust. You do some thrust. You're showing the guy your maximum range. Then I change my footing. Now this hip is forward. Didn't show that much. Then you're going to go. Now that it was adjusting to your range, you're able to get another 6 inches. So again, it's something you have to kind of be able to do both sides, because you're always kind of moving. You're always kind of readjusting your range. So the standard thrust is straight. But as you all know, there's always a shield in front of it. There's always, the shield is there, they're always protecting with that shield. So you want to try to get some angles going. So you want to be able to say, okay, the shield is here. I'd like to be able to get my thrust in behind. Because that's when you can start going out with your arm a bit. Get some angles. Same thing on the other side. You bring your arm out this way, and you get a bit of angle. So let's say in the melee, this guy here has been open. You got a guy behind you, got this guy here. You just throw. Same thing. You push your wrist out, which will make it. Will essentially make the forearm turn on the point of gravity, and you're able to get some angle on it. If you need more angle, then you can start moving your hips. Move the hip out, give the shot from here. Move the hip this way, and give your shot this way. And if you need even more angle, just step out and go get it. One step, boom. And you're on the other side, one step this way, and you're able to get more angle on. You want to be able to adjust while you're throwing, because the hole is there when you throw your shot, but it will move when. So if you're looking at it, you go get it, you go adjust. shot, don't throw just the gun. Throw your hip and shoulder too. At the end, I have a couple of drills that Master Eddie taught us and made us go through at Montreal and made us suffer through. They'll give you some ways to get your arm a bit more reinforced, be able to control your pull arm. Because if you're able to let your pull arm there and keep it there for a while, then you're able to throw out, bring it back, throw out, and you're not throw. Oh, okay, pick it back up. Throw. Pick it back up. You're able to control the whole shot.
That's a good drill for me.
Yeah. So, again, bread and butter. You want to be able to get to know your pull arm. You have your pull arm 6 foot, 6.5. If you're on a hill or a wall or something, and just know your distance. Because you're here, you got range. Okay, I can back up a bit. Still get it. And knowing that range will tell you, okay, he's here, he's dropped his guard, he's thinking he's out of range. I can take a step sideways. Okay, and then just pop him from a distance. It's really fun to do. So, you're not. So know that range. And also because sometimes you change forearms, you borrow someone's forearm or something, and you throw that shot thinking you got him, and it just doesn't get there. So sometimes doing a range check with a new forearm before going out to the fight is not a bad idea. Now you have the butt spike, the other end of the pole, the one that everyone forgets. This is a shot at Burka. The number of people, they get into the list, the short shield, and say, I'm going to charge you with your pole arm, you can't do nothing because I'll be too close. And all I'm doing is throwing that butt spike at their face. Or I go high, hey, I'm going to hit you in the head from here with this leg. They bring up their defense, and you just block them with the belt. Because the butt spike can be used at all ranges. It can be, you're here, you're defending, the guy gets in, just quick pop to the face or to the torso. Or sometimes what I do is I'll just go grab the guy's shield and then get into the face. It can be used at range. A lot of the times you're going to be in your normal stance, and what's going to happen is that you're just going to grip down the top hand and just push down. And directing it with this hand up. And then you're able to get that shot out to the back. You can sometimes choke up a bit and then get a bit more range. You can do it down to the side, you can do it on an angle. But it's basically, you're up in your normal guard, and you push down with this hand, being able to get to that shot and enough power. Something I noticed last year is that some people won't be taking the butt spikes. Why? Because a lot of times I'm holding the butt spike.
Yeah, if it's
When
like
it's
that,
really close, you have the gauntlet in that case. So I put a small ring, a tape, above the butt spike, so I know I'll be where I am. So I'm able to say, okay, I'm here, I'm good, and get that butt spike in. Same thing with the other end, I forgot to say. Ring the tape. So when you're choking up rapidly, your hand stops on that, and then you're not going off your blade, and you always know where you are on your pole arm. We're going to come back to this thrust for a second. Something I forgot that's extremely important is the thrust to the body has to be about the same force as a shot. Same thing applies to the butt spike. Thrust to the face is touch. Positive movement that can be strong. So you have to be able to gauge the power you have in your pole arm depending on where you're shooting, and That's why you never want, when you're throwing thrust, say you keep a light touch on your pull-arm, and at the last moment, that's when you decide, okay, I'm going for the body. Good. I'm sorry for your help. Same shot, I realize the face is there. I let go. Instead of taking a deft grip on it, I let go. Not completely, but I open my hand and it's still there. So I'm not putting the weight of my whole body back to that thrust.
That's going to kill his neck.
What?
That's going to kill their neck.
Yeah. So you want to be able to split second judge what's going on and be able to lose that power with the grip of your hand. Another thing Samoa does is puts the pinky on the back of the forearm, or more specifically on the spear. So when he wants to go in, he will throw the shot, and if he's going for the body, the pinky stays there and just puts it up, keeps that power in that spear. But if he sees it's going for the face, just lifts the pinky, doesn't tighten up, and the forearm and the spear or the forearm will hit with the sufficient force. But if that's something you have to recognize and you have to practice, is being able to deal with the different force at the different places. I've had to do a couple polearm offs, and at least two I've said no, I do not off you because you're not safe when you're thrusting to the face. You're not able to distinguish between a body shot and a face shot. So be careful with that. Accidents do happen. That's why we try to, at the helm, it has to be solid, it has to be good, but also, as you, the person throwing that shot, you have to be able to figure out how to bleed the power on a split second. So it's the same thing with the butt spike. If you're going for the body and the person, the face ends up there, just let go of that deft grip again, come back to something that's more sliding, and most of the power you're not putting the weight of your body into it, which is how you're mostly transferring that power. So, any questions on the thrusts and the butt spikes? This again, practice it in front of the mirror. And with the butt spike, you can throw the butt spike here, and then just bring that down. So you're going from here back into an attack right away. Butt spike, attack, butt spike. So it's something you can end up bringing into one of your normal combos. You're throwing a shot here, throwing a shot there. These guys are expecting it at the range. Don't throw a butt spike, go back in. So it's not just something you can bring out as a surprise or on a rare thing, it's something you can use all the time. The last shot that I use a lot, been something that's been bringing me a lot of success at Burka, is the backhand. Hitting with the back of the pole. And it's usually used when you throw a shot, they block it, you go back, and then you're coming back anyway. Why not try to give a shot arm on the way back? So you're going down, and again with the pivot, you bring this hand back more closer to your body, and just bring the push your butt spike out. So on the tail, one thing I do is I say, ha, I'm going to hit you on the head. And just go, you bring off all their defense here, then you just go over their head and knock them in the back. A lot of times it ends up being a blind shot that's hidden by their shield, because their shield is here, and you're throwing here, you don't know where it lands. So it's hard to know exactly what's happening back there. So if you go off your shot, take it as what it is. It's a free shot on the way back. Sometimes you get it in, sometimes you're able to get into the thrust and get a thrust to the face. But it's one of those ways to get around the shield, because shields that block in front of you, you have to have an angle to get that. So it's really just throw your normal shot and bring it back, or before, if you're able to get your forearm here, okay, step in and go get the back of that arm. Just like a wrap with a sword. Very useful, very different depending on the context, but don't forget about it because, hey, if you bring that forearm back, tap them on the head on the way. That's my 5 main attacks. Pretty simple, nothing uber complicated. It's just playing with the different angles you're able to get with your hands. Don't need to go all over the place. You're going to end up doing it from time to time. So there's no avoiding it, but 80% of the time, you're going to be up front. So that's pretty much the attack side. Now, the other guy, it's not going to just let you hit him. Unfortunately, unless they're called Pell, they attack back.
They're really good fighting now.
Sometimes the Pell hits you back too, or it usually makes you hit yourself.
Yeah. So what's your possible defense? The first one is the range. You didn't get this long a stick to just invite the fighter to come in. You want to use your range. So you want to be able to, as I was saying before, you're always kind of moving. I'm here, okay, you can't kill me, I can kill you. I move here, change the hips, always keeping that range. Take a pot shot from time to time. But you know that each time you throw a pot shot, that's probably when they're going to start attacking. The normal guard I use is pretty much pull up front, thrusting tips toward their eyes. So, not distract them, but when you throw a thrust, all they see is the tip, and they're not able to gauge the movement as fast as if I bring it in. Or if they just start running into you, you just adjust the pull arm so that your thrusting tips are just going straight into them.
They shish kebab themselves.
Yeah, they kill themselves running out of your pull arm.
Dreaded helm block.
Yeah.
The dreaded helm block.
So you want to be able to keep in your range, and you always want to be mobile. One thing you want to avoid is crossing your legs when you're moving. This is probably the position where you're most vulnerable because you're not really balanced, and if they turn, you're going to fall or get. You're going to start falling, and then they got you, you're out of balance, you can't. So you want to keep your range. You want to move, keep your legs flexed, being able to push forward, push back, move side to side, take off your chest to try and get some angle. Like, so here, if you look at the center. So, yes. It's token Chevelle right hell. So I'm here, I want to try to get some angle here, take a longer step over here, and be able to go on the side. He's going to surely move, then you can start continuing to move around him. If he's starting to move too much, okay, move the other side. And just try to create those angles. Anyone here done some dance? The waltz?
Yep.
It's pretty much this, you okay? Step here, here, here. Step here, here, here. Yeah, I did some dance classes for my wedding. And I looked at them and I told my wife, hey, this is just like fighting.
We'll start playing it an MP3 of a waltz when we
Actually,
get more.
the funny thing, Sir Angus, I've been listening to your lecture thus far, and I'm thinking to myself, I've heard me say almost all of this to a fencer.
Yeah.
So it's just really funny. Apparently you guys could, if you get really good at pole, could just go get authorized at rapier and turn into terrorists.
This is my rapier.
This is poking people with pointy objects.
That's actually what a Don in North Shield told me when I was up there, when I was fencing with him.
So always long step, never run across your legs, keeping yourself be able to push forward
the sound of Blue Danube.
We can make that our own 30-second clip.
So
That's not gonna be your ringtone on my phone.
keeping that range, knowing that range where you're safe, he's not, you're both safe, he's a threat to you, knowing where those places are will help you greatly being able to say, okay, he's getting too close, I'm going to take a step sideways. Now that range, you're not backing up, you're not getting out of it, you're just kind of twisting around and you're pushing them away. You want to get back into range, take a step sideways, back, forth. What you want to really avoid is they're charging you, you start running backwards, backwards, backwards. You're just going to end up tripping on something or tripping on yourself and falling to the ground. Or getting stabilized and him having the advantage of you. You want to be always, take a step back, take a step sideways, take a step back, sideways. One of the things I do is shielding will always have a tendency to charge in or come in faster. If you can, I take a step here and kind of throw myself back. He is going this way, putting his force this way, he's going to continue going that way. I'm here on the side. Got a good shot to the back here, back in. Or you're just not into the range anymore. So if you do that again, you're coming in slowly. I take a step here and pivot on that leg. Yeah, I'm a bit destabilized, but he's nowhere near. And here I have options. I can attack him, or the thing to do, what do you do when you're in a place you're not comfortable?
Get the hell out.
Get the hell out.
You just waste all that energy trying to do for nothing.
And you all, that's something, if you're not comfortable where you are, take that option. Get out, reset it, get back to your range. And then you're able to get back to your fight. Control that fight, control the movement. When that range closes in,
In that moment, like when he was coming in with the sword and shield to get out, do you ever literally just throw a shot? Like if I'm coming in for you, and you try, and when you back off, you just try to leg or anything, and try to throw that?
yeah, you have a lot of,
Because even if I turn to block upward, my leg's still deep.
you can go there, then you can go up,
Okay.
and then you can take another step and continue going around.
Okay.
You want to get, because a lot of that problem, it's against a lot of newer people, they will charge. What you want to do when you go in a full arm is come in with a defense, but stay a bit dumb foot, so that if I go here, you can follow me. And take that step and block me, so I'm not able to go around and get that angle. Because that's the thing, if you come in with a lot of momentum,
Yeah, it's just.
I move out of the way.
Tip on the body.
What happens when you get closer? Okay, you're here. For me, this distance here is the one that annoys me the most. Why? Because you're able to hit me. I have a lot of restrictions in what I can do. But I can't push you very well. So sometimes what will happen is that I'll pull in and cut that gap, because then we're both
Equally
the
screwed.
shield. You'll have these difficulties, and then I'm close. I have all the weight. You ready for this? Push them away, get them out, and I take a step back and do a reset. And you're not allowed hitting. I'm not allowed hitting you with the. I'm allowed putting the pole on and then pushing on a shield or on the weapon. I'm not allowed doing it with the body, but to the shield or the weapon. So another guy's polearm, you're in, and then you push. But what happens if you have a polearm and I have a shield? Do you think you're going to be able to push me? Nope. Do you think that that force is going to push you back? No. That's what we do. You come in,
You use him as a trampoline.
if you're in the same place, okay, I push myself off.
You're still safe.
I'm
Either way, you got the range.
I still have my pole arm in the way, and I'm going back in the range, and I've pushed him back so he can't accelerate as fast, and I'm not accelerating faster. Get out of there, and get out of there and get back to where you are comfortable, or at least where you can start resetting the fight.
When you're close like that, would you recommend at least attempting a shot? If I push, I go like that and spurt my hip as I back up.
If you have the opportunity, go for it.
Okay.
If you see you have that opportunity to kill the guy, take it.
Just take it.
But you kind of have to balance it out with, am I really in a bad situation, or am I kind of okay?
Can I manage it? Okay.
And a lot of those times, you look at your pole arm, you sword and shield say, this hand attacks, this hand defends. And it's the same thing with the pole arm. A lot of times you're going to be here, you get, you take the sword and shield, you want to defend with this hand, try to play with his sword, and have this other hand preparing for an attack. So you throw a shot down, I go block it with this hand. You throw something up, okay, now I can go block it here, but you're kind of covering his hand here with this hand, while this one here has to be ready to come in for an attack. So it's not one body on one weapon. It's two hands that work with this weapon, sometimes independently. Because you want to come block here, and here you're trying to get a shot in, and you're controlling the sword here, and you're trying to get around his shield, get his head with the other hand. And sometimes, okay, this one will help the other hand get the shot in, but you're kind of always working with both hands. For blocking against other pole arms, coming forward, again, point to the eyes. Your blocking will pretty much be with your hips. Okay, you come in, you throw a thrust, just bit of the hips, push that thrust away. Other side, bit of the hips, push that thrust away.
It's a bit like the A-frame for a greatsword.
Yeah, it's pretty much exactly the same thing.
Okay.
A lot of this can be extrapolated and applied to the greatsword, or extrapolated out to apply to a spear. Same thing when someone is coming in with a sword and shield, coming close, throw a wrap, twist the hip, go get the shot on the side, that side, that side. So it's really a lot of skipping. Hey, you went and blocked the shot here, you crack your hip, what's up here? Blade, bring it back in. Same, so you block here, use that energy, that sword in your hip, try to get a shot in. So a lot of times you'll end up sweeping back and forth, bing, bing, bing. When they're in close, when they're out far, same thing. That's the right, hips, movement, and that will enable you to block effectively without expiring a lot of energy. If the shot's out here, you don't need to go block it. The shot's over here, you don't need to go block it. It's not...
a miss is a miss.
Yeah, a miss is a miss. And also, just a bit of the tip, someone throws a shot, you just block it with the tip, throw it out. Same thing. But not really going out of that box, that's just your shoulder, your body. Other things on defense, you have to be physical during close, push them around, drag your sword and shield. Maybe your sword and shield for a moment. Something that can be done is going with this hand, grabbing usually they'll have a butt spike or something, grabbing that and pushing it foot back. You're kind of stuck.
And you're thinking, now what?
No, all that's going through my head is crap. Because the only thing I can think of to do is try to go around, and that's just me being
That's a dinosaur.
Or you move the shield over, blocking his shot. moving his shield into places where he's having problems to throw shots, which will then open things for you. You have to manipulate with the forearm. If the guy's static in front and going to stay like that, you have to find a way to manipulate him so that it opens up. Because you don't really have that opportunity. Okay, I'm going to do a wrap over or wrap this here or get an angle there. Since you're working with a longer weapon, getting those angles are difficult. You have to manipulate them a lot more. On the defense side.
And that's the same whether it's a center wash shield or a strapped shield. Or take the shield.
Whatever shield you have.
In the way is in the way.
I don't, a lot of times I'll be fighting someone and it's like, at the end of the fight, oh, you were a lefty? I have, since I'm always moving left, right, changing the forearm stances, going from one side to the other, a lot of times there's these things that you're not really noticing. Maybe that'll help, but because you're training yourself to fight against anything, then those special cases, I have a tendency to forget them. Sometimes I can probably use them for my advantage, but it's something that I forget about. Just thinking on defense, what else did I do? It's very situational. It's keep your range, keep moving, be ready to jump back, avoid shots, step sideways, step back, and just not be where those shots are going. If you're close, push them out of the way, push yourself away, disengage, control the fight, and that will bring you a good step forward. Singles and melees. Singles, I have a tendency to use shorter pole. You're going to be moving a lot, trying to get those angles open. In melees, polearm is very effective. It's even more effective when you work with shielding. Find yourself a shieldman that you're comfortable with, that you can come up from, turn around, and use them. They're your tank. They'll block everything, and they'll make you survive. You don't even think about your legs. You're most of the time just thinking about the top of your body, and you throw around. They're there. Okay, go here. Bring your pivot up. Throw over a line. Thrust in the middle. On each side. Work with your polearm, but work with your shielding. If you need to step out and go get things, do it.
Use the crook of his elbow as a guide.
It can happen.
That guy's got shoulders. If they lost an arm, right, I'd be like this type of thing, and I'd feel,
That's
leading
illegal.
here, and they're just trying to pull at you after that, and I'm like, yeah, sure.
And also, the polearm, you're expected to be the eye of the battle. Because the shieldmen are up there up front with the really tunnel vision.
Yeah.
They're tunnel. You're back here, you see, you communicate with your shieldmen and say, okay, we've got something coming, we've got a charge coming. Okay, we've got some openings over there. And direct your guns, pick your guns before, because a lot of times you're not as occupied, you're throwing shots, but you're also looking over it, you're looking to see what's going on so you can
The shieldman is busy trying to stay alive. He doesn't have time to think tactics.
That's it.
There's too much happening in that second.
One of the greatest gifts that is given to me in a melee is a shield. No. It's 5 shieldmen in a row on the other side.
And no spears.
You look at that and see this bunch of shieldmen, no long weapons.
It's Christmas!
It's Christmas. Because in the line, people have a tendency to stay together and work as a team. And when you've got that range on them and they're not able to hit you, then you can just go, you just throw
Well, and let's
Those
be
guys
honest,
will just,
and no one wants to be the shieldman who ran forward, that broke the line, that opened the gap, that lost the war. So,
It's not that. From my perspective, when I was, and I haven't been a shieldman in the big line in a long time, but you're right here. You don't know that necessarily you don't have your pole arm behind you. You know that there's guys right to your left and to your right. So you're concentrating on keep holding the line here and keeping alive so that the poleman that's no longer there can take his kills. So one guy drops, oh, there's a hole. Close in the hole, so then you're protecting whoever's behind you. If you happen to not be there, you don't know that because you're not doing this. No one's there. Then you're just concentrating to your front, right?
There was one bridge battle, probably about 5 years ago. I actually had a spear, and you were standing behind me with 7.5 foot, and it was just some big screws and big shields, right? And I had my spear's got a hook, and I was hooking the guys, and then I pulled, right? And with these big shields, they were going like this. And him, he was going murder. Right on the back of their head, right? Because they were going through, and he was going whack-a-mole. No, the shield, yank, whack-a-mole.
in melee, there's kind of two types of melee. You have the very dynamic fights, which, like the unbelts and all that, where you're smaller units that are running around. A lot of times, that's when you'll be working with your shields a lot. In more static battles, then you can become an aid to the spears. You've got some range. In those static battles, it usually ends up the spears come in, and then you step back and say, okay, these spears got it. And they spear at each other for half an hour, then one side blows up the other spears, then the shieldmen and the pole arms will go. The worst battle for that is the bridge battle. It's the most dull fight for a pole arm, except for 2 moments. When they charge, or when you charge.
Then it turns into a meat grinder.
It turns into a meat grinder, and it turns into the shields go in first, the pole arms go in right and back, letting the spears get out, and then the 2 shieldmen collide. And what happens when the 2 of them are there, they push, they start going up. And there you see in front of you a field of elves. And you just go pick them. Fuck.
That's a pretty hell. Let's put a tent on it.
Yeah, so you're supporting those charges, you go, and when they charge, okay, your spearmen are out, make some space for them to get out, the shields take the brunt of the force, and you're just there, you're throwing as many shots as you can, and trying to get those helmets down. For those who've been Penzig, have you ever been in a crush where the charge has been done, where everyone's kind of pushing? Do this. Start by doing this. Get your pole arm out from the crush.
Step 2, turn sideways.
Put your pole arm like this with the pivot high. And then just start throwing shots. Like this. Boom. Going down. Get that pole arm up and then just start throwing shots. Because that's another place. Everyone's crushed, everyone's done.
You don't want to have your weapon down low, you're not going to be able to bring it to bear.
A lot of times there's going to be a lot of spears and pole arms in the air above, so you have to try to get through them, find a hole, or you just go poke in and kind of make yourself a hole under, and then start throwing shots. And again, a lot of times the defense will come in very okay, their shots are coming down like this, I'll put my sword like this, I'll be defending, throw those side shots, try to get under, and go, throw the thrust into that, and just get your pole arm up there, because even if your pole arm is just like this, that means that the other pole arms have to get through this to be able to get to your guns. In a more dynamic model, yeah, stick with your shieldmen, direct them, and have fun. In dynamic battles also, you want to be quick to support your spear. You're not able to get that spear at the other end, but you're able to play with his tip and get your spearman to then go in. Because sometimes Edward was asking all the pole arms from last year that I'm Penzic is pick yourself a spear. If you don't, I'll have some. And always go to battle with a pole arm and a spear, especially for the bridge battles and things like that. Even if you're a bad spear, okay, your thrusting ain't that good, you're still a spear on the field. And or sometimes your pole arm, okay, the spears are tired, here, take my pole arm, grab the spear, and keep going. So, working pole arm, working your truss, you want to be able to extend that to the spear. You at least want to try the spear and work with the spear so that you're able to transfer that, and in a melee, being able to switch to one or the other whenever. I think that's a pretty big knowledge dump. I'm done for the talking right now. So let's get an armor, let's try some things. One thing. Sword and shields. How do you kill pole arms? Garrett, would you have any pointers on that?
For me, I mean, obviously, you gotta, one of my things I always say, either get in or stay out. That middle ground, okay, where I'm standing here with a sword and shield, and there ain't no way I'm gonna touch you, maybe you just go to town on me, that's just a death zone, okay? So either be here, clearly out of range, especially somebody like that, you stay out of range, or if you're going to get in, all right? When you get in, yeah, you've got a truck to clear that ground, but when you get about here, slow this train down, because he's going to want to go left or right, which means you're going to go choo-choo right through, all right? So at about here, once you get past that tip, now you're slowing down to about 50%, so that now when he moves, right, you're able to compensate for that. Once you're in, stay in.
When you get
Okay? Because as soon as and what does he want to do? He wants to do this. Right? If you're in, try to stay in. It doesn't have to be this kind of in, but I'm saying here kind of in, at least. Okay? Because, and this is a good place for you to work. Because as soon as you start getting out, okay, you got about range again, but he's still, right? And as I